And we'll now move on to planning applications. So the first one being planning application PA20/09665. And that is land adjacent to Hendra Close, Darite. Outline planning application for residential development comprising of a cross-subsidiary scheme for 18 dwellings, 9 affordable, with associated estate roads with appearance and landscaping reserved for future consideration. So I'll open the floor to any councillors that wish to speak. Yes, Andy.
Can I just clarify where we are in the NDP, because it's a hatched red area, isn't it, Darris? I couldn't open the NDP, so I'm sorry.
Yeah, the area of land in this application has already got a planning permission, but the planning permission was for 100% affordable and a smaller number. I can't quite remember how many it was, but it was to be all affordable dwellings, and it is a red hatched area because of the planning consent that is already there. We did not want that built on as the plan group. In fact, there was considerable opposition from the people of Darite to any further development in what is the rural gap between the settlements. So it's outside of the NDP, it's outside of the development boundary. As I say, the other application was for 100% affordable, and this isn't. It's a cross-subsidy scheme, so that's the difference in the extent planning permission and the one that is before you tonight.
So in essence, it's against the NDP.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. There is also there is one objection which I couldn't get to, and it's from a member of the public, which is quite a long and lengthy one, which in short says that it will look over some of the properties will directly overlook their conservatory, which is where they all dine all year round. They do make a suggestion to improve the proposed development. They would like to suggest that the 18 dwellings should be built in the adjacent part of the field, which is highlighted in blue on the plan. But in essence, they are objecting to it. There's no other public comments on it I can see. Well, there isn't, because I've just looked at it.
Okay. Any other councillors? Rents, regards? Yes, Chris, you'll have to unmute, Chris.
Okay, there's a couple of the sort of minor issues on it as well, spoken to a couple of other members of the public, and there is I've got a bit of a statement here that I'll read, that since May 2020, Cornwall Council's required all major schemes of more than 10 houses to make a net 10% gain with regard to biodiversity. The biodiversity metric submitted in the Hendra application shows a net loss of 1.4 biodiversity units from the site. This is due to loss of the grassland habitat. The preliminary ecological appraisal makes a modest series of recommendations for ecological enhancement as part of the scheme, but these have not been evaluated in terms of biodiversity units. The PEA, therefore, doesn't meet the current standards for the council. A clear ecological enhancement plan is required to demonstrate how the scheme will compensate for the loss of 1.4 biodiversity units plus an additional 10% overall gain. And the plan should also demonstrate how biodiversity will be monitored over time to ensure that that gain of 10% is maintained throughout. Also, there's a second sort of small point, which is pavements, not directly in Hendra Close, but they've made the whole like sort of place is sort of enclosed. So you've got a nice set of pavements running in the planning application, But then once you get out onto the main road between Darite and Crow's Nest, if you exit Pendra Close and you turn to your left, you lose the footpath after about 20-30 metres, and it becomes a narrow carriageway, which is like quite dangerous, quite busy. And if you actually go and look at it on Google Maps, you can actually see quite well demonstrated, because the Cornish Marathon took place on the day that the Google Maps car was there, and you can see runners in the road and you can see cars as well. And what this means is, like, the planning application will increase the amount of traffic, because like it's effectively sealed off, and makes it more dangerous for like existing road users. And I certainly feel very strongly that the council should be like looking, when they like sort of approve applications like this, taking into account road safety here, because like we're just increasing the amount of like sort of traffic onto narrow like stretches of road that weren't designed to cope with it. And if we want to support our like dog walkers, runners, bikers, school children, then there should be proper pavements on other part, not necessarily on that, or there should be mitigating, like sort of within the planning application itself, for people going from Pendra Close to like the surrounding community. That's all I want to say.
Thank you, Chris. Any other councillors wish to? Yes. Yes, Gail.
Right, I was going to say that also that corner there is absolutely lethal as you come up into Darite, say you're going up to the school. And also we have the bus, as I know to my peril, every 2 hours. And that bus, often if there's cars coming the other way, you are stuck on that corner. So, you know, that I think that has to be borne in mind when you look at the number of houses proposed, probably each house having 2 vehicles coming out into that narrow road there, which has just been said.
Okay, thank you. Any other? Yes, Brian Sage.
Is this absolutely a new planning application, or is it an amendment to the one that Darris mentioned, which is already?
It is a new application.
So has the other, Darris, has the other one fallen then?
Sorry?
Has the other one been rejected then, or what's happened to the other planning?
No, it's just that having obtained planning permission by making it all affordable, they can't now afford to build it as all affordable, so they want to do open market housing as a cross subsidy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's a brand new application.
Yeah, brand new application.
Was what you, Darris? I cannot recall this one. So, what was the situation with the first planning? Was there support for it, or was it?
It was opposed by the people who live in Darite. It was opposed by the people who were consulted in the neighbourhood plan. There was a site across the road which is currently being built, and that was supported because it was a little infill site. But this in the rural gap was not supported in the consultation process for the parish plan, and as such that's why the development boundary wasn't moved to incorporate it.
So my final question is, how did it get past then, that original planning application?
Because it was affordable housing.
Oh, I see. Right.
Yeah. Formal council decided in their wisdom to give it permission.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Brian. Sue? Sue Harwood.
I think the original plan has actually expired that they had.
It's not linked. I've looked and it's not linked back, so it looks as though it's expired.
I'm looking back at previous applications, and I'm pretty sure that the last ones that were in there were in about 2013 and 12. So I don't know whether
later than that, much later than that.
Yeah.
And there was also a withdrawn application on the whole of the red and blue areas earlier in the year, but obviously they realised that the blue area was well outside of the boundaries, so they withdrawn that one.
Thank you. Just bring Andy in. Andy, you had your hand up.
I was going to make a proposal, but I don't know if Brian wants to speak first. I don't know what Brian was going to say.
Right. Brian Smith.
There's a social media place called Nextdoor, where people at Darite have been expressing their views. It looks like from this there are other people trying to object, but problems with the online planning platform. So we got comments like just build on the Horizon site. Don't want any more housing in Darite. And there's another one saying they submitted their objections. And someone else asking whether it's protected by the St Cleer NDP. So it is a reasonably hot topic. And from the comments here, the majority are against. I think we should consider that also when we come to the vote.
Any other comments from the floor? Because I think Andy's about to make a proposal. Yeah. Chris Ullman?
It's just a point. You mentioned you were going to let the public sort of hear turn over planning, or did I misunderstand that?
Yeah, it was at the start because we don't have access to the clerk email address. It was because of virtual meetings, they were emailing in. So and at the start of the meeting, I asked any of the public there to indicate virtually if they wished to speak, and nobody did. But
okay,
that's what. Just to clarify, thank you. Andy, I believe.
I was going to propose that we don't support on the grounds that it's contrary to the NDP, and there are concerns over the biodiversity and also the road network.
Okay.
Right.
We wish to second Andy's proposal.
Second that.
Brian Smith. All those in favour? Okay, that is carried.
Yeah. I will phrase the minute and the bit on the planning portal as St Cleer Parish Council recommends refusal on the grounds that A, it is outside the development boundaries as set down in the Neighbourhood Development Plan, therefore is contrary to the Neighbourhood Development Plan, and I will look up which bit it's in, that it would encourage the, or it would exacerbate the danger to pedestrians due to the conflict with vehicles in the narrow roads with no pavements, a 1.4 unit biodiversity loss with no mitigation. Does that cover your one, Chris? In few words? Yeah, okay. And the fact that it is generally objected to by the public.
Thank you. We'll move on then. The second application then is PA 2